I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Ha, Rakakwadash, double honors unto our apostle elders, which rule great millstone well, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel, wa abab abal. So this is Revelation 3, and Yahweh Shai is rebuking three churches, the church of Sardis, the Church of Philadelphia, and the Church of Laodicea. And in Revelation 3, verse 10, all right, he says, Yahushua says, this is why it's red letter, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which the hour of temptation is in our generation. So he was rebuking the Israelites that were in Asia Minor, in what you know as the churches of Asia Minor. It was Israelite men, all right? And he was giving them the testimony which they were going to preserve in their time, but for this generation, which we're living in currently. It says in verse 10, because thou hast kept my word, the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which the hour of temptation is when they make the implantable microchip, the mark of the beast, mandatory for buying and selling, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. All right, I'm going to read it in the NLT. It says, because you have obeyed my command to persevere, I will protect you from the great time of testing that will come upon the whole world to test those who belong to this world, right? Which the 2/3 reprobates of the nation of Israel will be here, and they will suffer the lake of fire, being that they have worshipped the image of the beast. They have accepted the implantable mark. The mark is the microchip, the RFID microchip, the implantable microchip, which is the mark of the beast, which will condemn you to the lake of fire, which America will suffer nuclear destruction, and it's a judgment from on high. All right, now I'm going to cross-reference this verse. All right, and it pulls up the word of my patience. It gives you Revelation 1, verse 9, I, John, which John was on the island of Patmos, exiled, because the Romans couldn't put him to death, and the reason was because he had to see this vision so that we would have the book of Revelation in these last days. It says, I, John, who also am your brother and companion in tribulation and in the kingdom and patience, which he was an Israelite of Yahushua HaMashiach. He walked with Yahushua HaMashiach, was in the isle that is called Patmos for the word of Yahweh. He was being persecuted by the Roman Empire, and for the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach. Revelation 13:10, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Here, he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword, which the heathen are going to go into captivity under the Israelites, which we've been put in captivity underneath the heathen because of our sin. And now that we're repenting, we're going to receive salvation through Yahweh Shai as promised in the word of Yahweh. And he's going to give us the heathen, all right, as our slaves. And we're going to be able to pay them back for what they've done to us. And we're going to have them for 1,000 years. It says, here is the patience and the faith of the saints, which we're waiting for this promise to be fulfilled. It says in Revelation 14, verse 12, here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Yahweh and the faith of Yahweh Shai, which is the word, keeping the word of his patience. All right, as it says in Revelation 3:10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, which is The Holy Scriptures, the Word of Yahweh, speaks of Yahweh Shai. He comes in the volume of the book. I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. See, he's going to preserve us because the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is going to be our stability. Isaiah 33 and 5. Yahweh is exalted, and we exalt him by praising Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, by the word, which instructs us how to praise Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. For he dwelleth on high, he had filled Zion, the Israelites, with judgment and righteousness. Now, not all Israel is of Israel, so not every Israelite is going to have the understanding of Yahweh's judgment and his righteousness, which comes through Yahweh Shai, and wisdom and knowledge, which we have in this generation through the Holy Spirit of Yahweh, which testifies of Yahweh Shai. It says, shall be the stability of the times, which we have the wisdom, wise judgment. We will reject the implantable microchip. We will not accept it. And knowledge, all right, we will not be deceived, shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is his treasure. And this is how he's going to keep us from the hour of temptation, as promised in Revelation 3, verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. See, so we're being prepared to be delivered. Psalm 50. Let me get verse 2. Out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, Elohim have shined, right? The elect have this light, and we've been commanded by Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, to let our light so shine. It says in Psalm 50, verse 14, offer unto our power thanksgiving, and pay thy vows unto the Most High, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, and call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. See, so Yahweh has been preparing us through the spirit of Yahweh Shai, which Yahweh Shai is the word of Yahweh. He comes in the volume of the book, and we're being preserved as it is written in the Holy Scriptures. All right, we've been commanded to persevere and prophesy. And he was going to deliver us from our enemies, which is going to come down with great wrath, knowing that they have but a short time. And how would they know? They're hearing our prophecies, the prophecies of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. It says in Isaiah 54 and 17, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. And every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn, because there is no condemnation for us that are in Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. This is the heritage of the servants of Yahweh, and their righteousness is of me, saith Yahweh. And as it said in Revelation 3 and 10, right, he commanded us to persevere. So we're going to overcome, all right? Revelation 3 and 10. Let me get the NLT, because it's a commandment that we overcome. It's already been spoken and written, and it's going to be fulfilled in due time. Revelation 3 and 10 NLT, because you have obeyed my command to persevere, I will protect you from the great time of testing that will come upon the whole world to test those who belong to this world. It says in verse 11, KJV, behold, I come quickly, hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take that crown. Him that overcometh, talking about the Israelite men, and it's really because we've been commanded to overcome. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my power, and he shall go no more out and I will write upon him the name of my power, Yahweh, and the name of the city of my power, which is New Jerusalem, which were really citizens of New Jerusalem. If we had the power and the ability, we would go back and rebuild our city in the righteousness of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, just as the men in the past tried to, which cometh down out of heaven from my power, and I will write upon him my new name, which Yahushai is going to give us new bodies that do not sin, and he's going to give us that city, New Jerusalem, which it tells you in Isaiah 14:1, for Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. See? So the Israelites, through the internet, the unicorn, are waking up to the truth, and they're cleaving to the house of Jacob. And that's so that the Lord could take us back to that land, but he's going to give us new bodies and put us back on the earth to rule. And we're going to rule with an iron fist for 1,000 years and forever, really. But for that first 1,000 years, we got to re-educate the nations. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Esau, I'm saying, that's the devil, because I was thinking about the extinction of Esau right now in my mind while I was reading this. Because after that 1,000 years of slavery, Esau is going to be made extinct. All right. And Esau is the so-called white race who set themselves up to be worshipped as God on earth. All right. Which they blaspheme the Holy Spirit. All right. So I'm going to read it from the top. Isaiah 14:2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them. Esau, we're going to possess them and the other nations in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Now I'm going to jump down to verse 21. It says, prepare slaughter, and you're being prepared, you heathen, by us telling you your judgment for his sons, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land nor fill the face of the world with cities. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon, aka America, the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith Yahweh. So he's going to extinct the so-called white race, the red devil that has corrupted the whole earth. Verse 23, I will also make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, saith Yahweh of hosts. America is going to eat nuclear missiles. That's its judgment. And they're going to be shot off from its allies, NATO nations, UN nations, and its enemy, BRICS nations. All right. And America is going to become a desert and a place of pools of water, bitter pools of water. All right, and no man will live here. And eventually, desert creatures will dwell here, but no man will ever live here, because it will be a memorial of what happens to them that live ungodly. All right, and it's gonna be Yahweh's vengeance on the wicked and what they done wickedly to the Israelites, and he's gonna deliver us from this place of such a great judgment by sending his son back, Yahweh Shai, and he's going to preserve us from the second death, the nuclear destruction of the wicked in their kingdom, aka America. Shalom to the elect wa abba.